Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, listeners. I'm the Filipino podcasting machine, Princey D, and with me, as always, Mr. Timmy B. Before we get started, please remember to follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, wherever ever you get your pods. On today's podcast, we talk to a Canadian flyweight UFC fighter. We recap UFC Hall versus Strickland, talk about weight cutting problems, preview UFC 265, pick our fighters for a weekly fight on site, and a whole lot more. Timmy, hit it, buddy.
Yeah, it's Timmy B, Princey D, Fight Insight. Yeah, that's right.
Our guest today is a homegrown talent. He's competing in the UFC's flyweight division with a professional record of 13-5. He is the former TKO, WXC, and HFC flyweight champion, as well as the former PMMA bantamweight champion. Born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, he now trains right here in Toronto, Canada at Toronto Top Team. He comes to us today fresh off of his first UFC win at UFC Vegas 31 on July 17th. Ladies and gentlemen, from Scarborough, Ontario, where I was born and raised, on the playground was where I spent most of my days, presenting
Malcolm X Gordon. X gonna give
That's
it to
awesome.
you. Gonna give
That's
it to you.
awesome.
X gonna give it to you.
How's it going,
That's
Malcolm?
awesome. I'm good. That was the coolest intro I've heard in a long time. I'm just saying.
Oh, man.
That's
That's
nice.
it. Thank you, Malcolm. Congratulations on your win, man. Holy cow, what a win a couple weeks ago. How you feeling?
Good. I was talking to my coaches the other day, and it's actually been like a pretty rough year. You know what I mean? So, it felt good to get that win. I was totally not impressed with my performance, but yeah, it is what it is.
Malcolm, when I was watching the fight, oh man, you were on full aggression mode. As soon as the bell rang,
Yeah.
straight takedown. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought it was game over. Okay, well, Malcolm needs to watch this dub right now.
Yeah,
Right? So,
yeah.
I thought it was amazing, amazing fight, brother.
Yeah, like that's how you got to fight that guy. That was kind of the game plan going in, was keeping him on his back foot, so putting as much pressure on him as possible. And then that way he can't really get any shots off, and it makes it a lot more difficult for a lot of his range, right? So you close that range right away, put the gap, put him on his back foot, and then we were expecting to be a little bit better at the grappling with this guy. Like he was pretty strong too. You know what I mean? Like I really had to play an extremely technical game, otherwise I was gonna get fucked up.
It was crazy, Malcolm. Yeah. And I know, in the interview, in the post-fight interview, you said, like, hey, I needed this win. I didn't want to get cut from the UFC. So you felt like your back was against the wall. How did it feel getting that first UFC win?
No, it felt good. I was actually a little embarrassed about my whole, falling to my knees part, because I was like, fuck, I didn't win the world title. But, yeah, no, it felt good. It felt good.
But how, look, it has to be emotional. It has to be crazy, right? You're a Canadian fighter in the flyweight division, your first UFC win. I ranked off all the titles that you held in your intro. How does your first UFC win rank amongst those victories, though? Like title fight victories, but not on the grand stage. How does it compare?
It's a hard one to explain. It's different. Because, there's a time when you were fighting, when you're at that level, and you just you knew in your heart. Oh, sorry. You knew in your heart that you were you could do so much better, right? So I always kind of envisioned myself in the UFC, and it was fucking tough taking 2 losses like that. You know what I mean? And then it's do I really belong here? Where is this it? Are you you too old? Whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff. So getting the first UFC win is a huge, and it's a huge accomplishment in itself. From the amount of professional fighters there are to making it to the highest level, to getting their first win at the highest level, it's and for Canada too. Fuck, man.
Yeah,
we only have a few athletes, you know what I mean, represent us in that stage. So
And
Well, that,
Malcolm, I mean, when they called out your name, I could see the absolute joy in your face. Like I could see that. Oh my gosh, it looked like you just won the chip. Like you went in there, you're like, yeah. And the door, and the fact that you're also representing Scarborough, Scarborough stand up, right? So that's huge. That's huge.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Malcolm, you said it, but I mean, how does it feel to have like literally the whole country on your back? You know, like the whole country of Canada supporting you, right?
Yeah. I try not to like. It is what it is. Like the Canadian, yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just better to be actually able to perform. You know what I mean? Perform well. That's all that matters. You know, like fuck. You know. So that's it. Because I think
Now
a lot of people that have watched me for a long time, like everybody knew that there was a lot more I had to offer than the brief time that I was in there, right?
Yeah. But so you're born in Calgary, and like before this pandemic, Calgary was one of the last places I visited on a trip, and it's beautiful out there in Calgary. How did you find yourself? How did you find yourself moving now to Toronto and being with Toronto Top Team? How did that come about?
You know what? I ended up getting engaged, and yeah. So
Congratulations,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
And wait, so how does that play into it? Does that mean the missus said, "Hey, we're moving to Toronto"?
We're moving to Toronto, so you got to go.
Nice. And it's your fiance, right?
Yeah.
And it is her birthday today. I think we're filming
Yeah.
this on the Wednesday. It's her birthday, so happy birthday!
Yeah. I'll give her a shout out. For sure.
Nice. And when are you getting married? Is there a date? Do you plan it?
Yeah, it's May next year.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You know, before we get to the fan questions, and I think some of the fan questions were this, but what is next for Malcolm Gordon? So now you get that big win off your chest. Now you can just focus on like succeeding. But what is next for you? What do you envision?
Man, it's whatever happens. You know, like I think the division's like kind of wide open, give or take. Like I think Garbrandt's coming down, and so they're kind of shaking up like a little bit of the dynamic. You know what I mean? But there's no easy fights from this point out, so that's why I'm like constantly in the gym. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who they're going to give you next. You know they're so well-rounded in that division, and everybody's just on the next level. It's like you have to be prepared for everything, right? Yeah. So at this point, it's like it really doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? I just got to keep performing. So I got to keep improving every day and stay on top of this shit. That's it.
Nice. No, that's amazing, man, and good for you. So for those, you know, and I do want to give a shout out to your gym though, because like Prince said, it's right around the corner from Prince. You know, I grew up in Scarborough as well, so like that's all in our area. What kind of gym is it? What kind of people should go visit Toronto Top Team? Should people go there to train, work out only if you're professional? What's the deal?
No. This is like they have some really great instructors in this facility, and Ainsley runs a pretty good MMA class as well, right? So you know. I don't think there's very many spots in the city that have, one place to go to where you could just strictly get MMA training or whichever, right? Like, I think you spend a lot of time traveling, like different locations, and then having to put it together, whatever, you know, it's like yourself, more or less, right? So they do, like, have an MMA program here, which is, like, good. You know, it's well versed, and all the other classes too. It's like it's good for like all ages, all levels. It's good. It's a good environment. Nice. I enjoy here. It reminds me of the old vibes of like Adrenaline, where I came from in London, right? Like it was like a fight gym, right? There's nothing extremely flashy about it. It was just like it was a really homegrown gym.
Nice. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Malcolm, our podcast is now, we're partnering with Filipino TV all across Canada. So we're actually on Filipino TV. I'm sure you watch a lot of that. And I'm going to edit out your laugh, Malcolm. I don't like that. But we're on Filipino TV, and one of the things we want to start doing is going around to gyms, especially around Toronto, and like filming and stuff. So maybe one time when you're going into a fight or something, we'll bring a television crew down and we'll get you on.
For sure.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, Malcolm, you're actually a top team right now. You're at the gym right now, right?
Yeah.
Well, give us a quick pan through of how the gym looks like. Just a quick pan
This
through.
is just the MMA side, and then some weights and
That's
all the good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We've got some fan questions for you, Malcolm. Again, we greatly appreciate your time. So I'm going to go through some fan questions if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. First question is from Gary D. Wilkins. He says, if you could have chosen between being a pro fighter, a pro skater, or a pro snowboarder, what would it have been?
It's pro snowboarder for sure.
Really?
All of the above. All of the above, because I'm good at all three, so I don't care. All of the above.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
I figured this guy must have known something. So
yeah, he knows what's up. He knows what's up.
Yeah? All right,
Yeah,
cool,
for sure.
man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He knows what's up.
All right. Nathan _ McEwen 11 asks, what was it like finding out your opponent for your last fight, being Figueiredo?
I felt it was a blessing in disguise, to be honest, because that was like, first of all, he's got the last name that everybody, has been talking about for the last little bit, right?
Yeah.
And that's more or less it. Like, it was just a blessing in disguise,
Yeah.
You get to fight a Figueiredo to your chance to redeem yourself in the UFC. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Next question. I feel like this person must know you. Ol_Levs. He asked, who hits harder, Figueiredo or your brother with an old school house phone?
My brother with the old school house phone for sure.
All right.
I feel like there's a lot of inside jokes that we don't know about. Like the grin on your face, Malcolm. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And last question. This is from our friends over at MMA Social Squad. They do a great Instagram page. What do you love most about Toronto?
Oh man, there's like, you can get every type of food you ever wanted. And I don't even know if that's a thing, because like I haven't, like London, I don't know. You could literally walk down like anywhere downtown and get whatever you want for food. I love the food. I remember that. Yeah.
Nice. Any big place you want to shout out? Any like hidden gems that we should know about?
I don't even know, because like the best ones are the ones that you don't even realize, that you don't remember the name or anything. It was just like, fuck, how did I get here?
And then you can't find it again.
And you never find it again. You're just like,
that's
all right,
the worst.
That's it. Yeah.
Alrighty. Malcolm, again, we greatly appreciate having you on. Thank you so much for coming. Like we're a small MMA podcast, just started, but we're out of Toronto. So to have a Canadian fighter on us was huge. This is our 25th episode, so it's a big deal to us to have you.
Right on.
Thanks, man.
Right on.
Before we let you go, is there anything you want to say or anybody that you want to shout out before you go?
I want to shout out Adrenaline Training Center once again. Here, Toronto top team. Mike Imperato doing some good things with the jiu-jitsu program too. I think he's just started like a program over at Extreme Couture. So, he was helping me a lot for this fight. But he's running a really solid no-gi program there at Extreme Couture. Irfan Newsy, the guy that was doing my boxing, like amazing guy. You got to hit him up on Instagram, whichever. I don't know his Instagram. NutriFarms, Canadian companies. They're like they do like quality meats and whatnot. So big ups to NutriFarms and helping sponsor me out. Same thing, Blackfly, even though I don't promote drinking alcohol, but Blackfly Blues, good friend of mine.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's it, man. King Dr. Faisal, if he's watching, because without Dr. Faisal, you guys should probably get him on your podcast at one time. Because without Dr. Faisal, Ramon, there's like no. You couldn't get medicals or anything done in this province, right? Which means like a lot of these guys wouldn't even be able to fight. So having Faisal just in that hospital and hooking us up like this, it's helping me out huge. And like a lot of the fighters in Ontario. So and so he's quite a personality too. So you guys got to have him on.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thanks for the shout out on that. We'll definitely reach out to him, because we always like doing things with like people that are outside the norm. not just fighters, but like different aspects of fighting.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Prince, before we let Malcolm go, anything you want to say to him?
Well, Malcolm, I'm just saying, since you moved out to Scarborough, I think you should switch up your pre-workout. I think before you go into the actual cage, you should load up on a beef patty and a bottle of a tea.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a
Yo,
classic.
where's there a good spot around here? You have any spots? Because man, I've been on I was searching around and I couldn't find one the other day, and it was bugging me.
Oh, I mean, you could go. There's Mona's. There's a one that Mona's we go to. We get that's where we get some of the rotis and doubles. I don't know if you like doubles, but they have doubles. Yeah, Mona's. There's a good spot there. There's a couple of. There's a Sunrise one. Sunrise restaurant not too far from where you are. But if I recommend, it's Mona's. Like you gotta go check out Mona's. Mona's is one of the good places to go. All right.
Sick. I like it,
man.
I like it.
There's a place, I'm gonna send it to you, Malcolm. It's like right around the corner from you. It's right at I feel like it's right around the gym, like around around Warden and Eglinton. But there's a place. I'm gonna find it and I'll send it.
Yeah. I need a couple of new spots here. I want to see.
All right.
There's one there. I can't remember the Scotch bonnets or whichever, but I think that's like fancy. So.
Yeah. Hey, if it's a fancy place, it's not good. You got to go to the hole in the walls.
Yeah.
And if you're okay, so you're in Mona's, right beside it is Miss Remilly's. Also, it's a Filipino restaurant. So you just go. Go
perfect.
right across from there, right? So there you
perfect.
go.
I like all the foods, bro. I love them all.
There you go. All right, Malcolm. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully, we can have you on again before your next fight.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks,
Later.
Malcolm. Have a good one. Take care.
Bye
bye. Alrighty, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's wicked.
What a great guy.
I'm literally just gonna hop on the car and just drive over. It's really down the street. I could probably still catch him. Like, yo.
You know what I have always wanted though. When he showed his gym, I've always wanted to go to a place where I could train with a cage. I don't need a full cage, just even a half cage like they had, like where they had the wall. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Like every time we used to train MMA, we have the wall with the mats, and so like for get ups and stuff, we would push against the wall and stuff. But I've always wanted to feel like how it would feel with the cage. So yeah, pretty cool, man. What a good guy. For those that don't know Malcolm X Gordon, you got to go check out his fights. He's had 3 fights in the UFC. The guy is a ball of energy, man. And when he took out Figueiredo's brother, what a great fight that was, man. Nonstop, like you said.
Yeah, that was literally nonstop. I could tell that for Malcolm, he really needed that win, and the sheer aggression that came out of even from the first round. I'm like, man, I was thinking he was gonna finish the fight the first round, right? But again, it was a good win, and shout outs to Malcolm. I appreciate him coming through the podcast, and DX will be back. DX will be back.
Man, you are loving that hand symbol.
I love it. Man, I've been doing this.
Hey, it is cool though. If a fighter has something that he can do that people can mimic, that is something that's very marketable, right? Like that helps them. So yeah, pretty cool.
Well, our last podcast with Elise Anderson, I kept telling her, you got to come up with something. So that people
you said that. Yeah.
And I kept doing this. I don't know why. It's like,
So we're going to get to a few things. Before we do, I do want to give a shout out to Filipino TV, like we were talking with Malcolm, but we are on this week. So if you're listening to the podcast this Friday when it drops, it airs again on Saturday at 9 p.m. So if you have Filipino TV, or if you want to buy Filipino TV, go ahead. And we're on there this week. We were on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I think it seems like we're going to be on probably every other week or something like that. But we're very excited, guys. We're very excited. It's something new. It's not like the same podcast. It's Prince and I go to Filipino TV. Next week, we're going to be in studio. We talk about MMA. Sometimes it's the same general topics, but it's a different thing. So it's really cool, and we're really happy to be on it.
Yeah, and shout outs to our boy James, co-host at Sports Weekly, for bringing us in, and it's a great opportunity. And trust me, guys, we're going to have more content for you. You guys log in. It's going to be so much fun. Once all this stuff opens up, I'm telling you, you're going to see so much stuff come out of Fight Insight podcast. Your mind will get blown.
And I invited ourselves already to Toronto Top Team. So he said yes. So we're going in there with a film crew, man. That's going to be wicked.
Yeah, Tim. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Listen, hey, okay, let's do it, right?
All right, let's quickly recap Hall versus Strickland. We're just going to talk about two fights that occurred over the last weekend. Obviously, the first fight we have to talk about is our good friend Bam Bam Barberena. Prince, what are you saying about that fight?
You know what? It was a tough fight. It was actually one of the few fights where I actually was begging the ref to stop the fight. I was like, listen, it's over. Bam Bam's won. What are you doing? The guy's stunned. It's over. It's game over. Unfortunately, our boy didn't come out with the win, but you know what? He fought his heart out. And honestly, it was like a scene from Rocky where you at the very end, it was just like rock'em sock'em and you're literally in there on your seat. And Tim was actually texting
on
me,
your
like,
seat. Who's on your seat? I was standing up the whole thing. The whole third round, I'm standing up. My wife is standing up. We're screaming at the TV. We're like, finish him. Oh, it was so good, man. That was such a great fight. So Bam Bam didn't get the win, unfortunately, guys. He came on so strong in that third. It was like and he did not get beaten up that fight. He got taken down, unfortunately. It was just a lot of takedowns. He did get up every time, but it was just the accumulation of takedowns, I think, in the first and second that really won with the fight. Great fight on Wit's end because, hey, if I was ever going to fight Bam Bam, I am not standing toe-to-toe with that guy, right? Like, you got to get that guy down immediately. But Bam Bam poured it on in the third, man. It was so close to being stopped, like you said.
Absolutely.
Where's Mario Yamasaki when you need him?
Right? Oh,
what if
we have him on the podcast?
No, we're not getting Mario Yamasaki.
But listen, you know what? Before we go, I want to let you know, Bam Bam. You know what? We still got love for you, buddy. And we don't really normally do this. We're breaking protocol.
Oh, beautiful. Prince is now displaying his Brian Bam Bam Barberena shirt, his official gear that he ordered. Beautiful. And it doesn't even look that big. You said it was a double XL or something?
Yeah, it was double. Actually, this is one of my favorite tees now.
You're filling it up. You're filling it up pretty good.
Yeah, being a avid bodybuilder myself.
For those that don't know as well, Brian, he also won the fight of the night for that night. So he was given the fight of the night honors, which makes him like a 3-time fight of the night winner now. That's, a nice $50K bonus. So that's pretty good. We're happy for Bam Bam. We will obviously definitely have him back. He's a huge friend of the show and wish him all the best. Next fight we'll talk about on that card was the main event, Hall versus Strickland. We had Strickland. Prince, he had the most significant strikes landed in a middleweight fight ever.
Wow.
He really took it to Hall. So here's a shot here of one of the shots. Yep. What did you think about this fight?
Okay, you know what? I was thinking, Tim. So look, we were talking about in past podcasts, guys. If you haven't seen our podcast about calf kicks, we're talking about oblique kicks as well, and you don't see how effective a simple jab can be. The jab was so effective for Strickland. The way he just kept his distance and he just picked him off with that jab. Like, I was just so surprised. He the jab. Remember the first episode, the jab, right? And so he just kept his distance and he just poured it on him. And he was so accurate. He just displayed a full clinic. I was just surprised Hall wasn't dropping any kicks, wasn't using a strike beam, nothing. I just like, what happened, man? It's just ever since he got clipped with the first couple of jabs, it was just like it was almost like game over, right? So I was surprised. Actually, I thought Hall was going to take it, and I know Tim, you're a big Hall fan. So what do you think, man?
I was crying. I was already crying from the Bam Bam fight. I think we were texting back and forth and you were like, after the Bam Bam fight, you were texting me going like, oh, this is a great fight. And I'm like, I'm not watching these fights. I'm already upset. Right.
Yeah.
I gathered my composure. I watched the Hall fight. Yeah, I was so disappointed, man. I know our friend Rob, he was like teasing me. He's like, well, are you going to get off the Hall train now? I was like, no, I still love Hall. But I mean, really disappointing, man. Hall, I don't know, man. I don't know why the fight went that way. He started to throw a few leg kicks, like very few, but he started to throw a few. I'm like, okay, hold on. You normally hear announcers say that if someone's heavily relying on their jab, that they're going to be putting a lot of pressure on their front foot, right? So that you can put the power behind your jab. Yeah. That's a key moment then for Hall. Like, just eat the jab and wail on the leg. Do it a couple times. The guy will lose his jab power. Yeah, it was sad, man. I love Hall. He's a great guy. He's a great ambassador for the sport. So I do hope he comes back. And Strickland, boy, oh boy, you've now made your case for being right up there. And they are saying that his next fight will be against a returning Luke Rockhold.
What?
That's
Wow.
that's the word on the street. That's another good win for Strickland.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, yeah, Strickland showed great prowess, showed great aggression, showed great composure. Right? He just picked him apart, like you said, from far. Never made it a slugfest. It was really good. A great fight by Strickland, and really elevated his career.
Yeah, and even like he showed how versatile he was. Like he even did takedowns. Like I didn't think he had to, because literally he was just picking off with a jab. He could have just stood up with him left, right, and center, right? But I mean, he did all that and just showed his versatility. But again, Strickland's someone that's another fighter to watch, right? Up and coming, and I think he's definitely going to be up there soon, right? With especially.
Yeah, and if you don't watch his Instagram, you got to follow his Instagram. Strickland is a strange character. I shouldn't say it in a bad way. Unique character. His videos and stuff, he's quite the character. He's got quite a personality, quite opinionated. So follow Sean Strickland on IG. The next issue we're going to talk about, Prince, is weight cut issues. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because on that card, we lost a big fight, which was Nicco Montaño.
Yep.
And I've put the banner over this. But so while we were thinking about topics to discuss on the podcast, we were saying, let's talk about Nicco because she had that weight cut issue. And now just today, they're releasing that the news is that UFC has released Montaño after multiple fight cancellations. So she was the inaugural women's flyweight champion. She went through the Ultimate Fighter show, became the flyweight champion. She's only fought once since being stripped of that title in 2018 due to several weight mishaps. She was stripped of the title due to her weight mishap. And now this last weekend, she missed weight by 7 pounds.
It's a lot.
Yeah. She weighed in at 146 pounds. I think it was something like that. And the UFC finally said, sorry, man, like we're not having that anymore. What do you think about that, Prince? Someone who's had multiple weight cut issues and comes in at 7 pounds overweight.
You know what I mean? It's such a big controversial topic, just because with weight cut, you're prone to all these health issues, right? You can have heat exhaustion, kidney failure, dehydration. You can experience a seizure as well. Hall actually, when he was doing his weight cut, he experienced one too, right? And so there's a lot of issues around it, and I mean, a lot of fighters, it's tough, just because you gotta be able to make weight, and it's also respecting too, right? I mean, the other person made weight and you didn't make weight, and it's almost just like, hey, like, we gotta be professionals over here. You gotta make that weight, right? So and on top of that, anyone, like I was doing some research around it too as well. There's like a correlation between cutting weight and your durability and actually your chin. Like once you get in there, it's almost like you're prone to, your versatility and even your stamina is out the window, just because of that amount of weight that you cut, and even that water weight as well. Just the water weight, the last day or so that you need to cut off. It takes a lot out of your body for sure. So I mean, again, it's another controversial topic that UFC is trying to deal with, and I mean, fighters got to deal with it as well. But there's no way around it. You got to make the weight. That's the only way. There's a reason why we have these divisions, right? So what do you think about it?
I really like Nicco Montaño. I've always been a fan of hers, as little as you could be a fan, since like you don't really see her too much. But she was representing Native Indian community, the indigenous community, right? There's a lot of story about that. And, that's her background. That's where she's from. That's what she represents. Coming off, just last weekend, on a quick side note, we did attend the Indigenous Awareness boot camp that our friend Kat Sindel put on. And it was on our Instagram, and we had a bonus episode. So, it's a cause that was important. And so Nicco was kind of like a figurehead for that community and was able to present that. But unfortunately, with these weight cuts, I like her. She's gone. I was looking back. She's changed gyms 3 times in the last almost in as many years. She was with Fit NHB, then she was with Jackson Wink, and then most recently she's with Syndicate MMA, which is where our good friend Ramona Carla is, and other fighters, and Chris Wartime Rios. She's surrounding herself with good gyms. Jackson Wink, Syndicate MMA, like, you're around good gyms. Now, you're bouncing around gyms. I don't know if that reflects anything, but like you said, man, this is your job. Your job is to show up on weight. If you're coming in at 7 pounds overweight, how much did you come in to fight week? Like Bam Bam was saying, he comes in maybe about 20 pounds overweight, right? And Queso, when he was on Matt Padilla, he was saying that he comes in around 20 pounds overweight or even less. I mean, if you're still 7 pounds after trying, and actually her face, it looks almost a little gaunt too. Like when you see that picture there.
Yep.
So sometimes people miss weight and their face looks like puffy, and you're like, okay, well, you've got more weight to lose, right? She looked like she was drained out. So I mean, I don't know if it's her nutrition or something. I mean, you got to get that in check, man. Like you said, that is your professionalism. That's your job. You know, the whole past year in COVID, you know, should you be cutting more weight so that you say, okay, I'm going to come in on fight week and I'm going to be almost on weight right on day one. Like, I can't afford another weight cut miss. It's really disappointing. And the fact that she got cut, you know, we didn't know this when we were scheduling the topics to talk about, but she just got cut today, I think. And it's sad, but it's expected. And what promotion is going to pick her up? That's my question. You know?
You know what? Maybe that's. I mean, just I know. You know, a striking coach is important. Grappling coach is important, but also nutritionists. You know, people that like even a holistic practitioner as well to help you out with any imbalances that you may have. I mean, those are just as important as well, right? So, you're absolutely right. That's who's going to pick her up after all this, right? So, I mean, that's a lot of money to lose, especially if you're canceling these fights, right? So, people expect you to come in and watch you go at it. So.
She was on the main card. She's the former flyweight champion, like, right? Like, they would want to promote her for everything that she represents. But speaking of nutrition, you know, I'm just looking. I remember on Malcolm's Instagram, and he talked about one of his sponsors being NutriFarm. But he posted that, right? Like, you got to get sponsors like this. Like, that's a bag of like air sealed salmon that he was getting.
Oh my gosh, omega-3s and everything.
But like, that's what you got to get, right? Like, you got to hook up with the right nutritionist and stuff like that. 7 pounds overweight. It's not even close. I've never heard of anyone missing by that much.
Yeah, that's
so. You know, I do wish her all the best. I hope that she gets things in check. I hope that she finds an organization that will take her. I don't know. Maybe you go up in weight class. I mean, I think that was at bantamweight. So maybe she needs to go up to what's above bantamweight? What's the Nunes? I don't know. I just call it the Nunes division, right? Featherweight. Anyways, she needs to go up another division, maybe, right? And just see if she can do that. But good luck to her. We wish her all the best, and we'll see what happens. But you know, that it's just crazy. Let's move on and talk about this fight card, which has had a bunch of problems as well. So here we are with Lewis versus Gane. It's UFC 265. This is this weekend. When this releases, it will be tomorrow. Prince, we'll talk about just very quickly. One of the fights on the card is Chiesa versus Luque. This is in the welterweight division. It's number 5 versus number 6. Let's just do our picks. Who do you got for that? Unless you want to say anything fancy.
No,
Chiesa?
I say
Chiesa? Luque?
Luque.
Right. I'm going to go Chiesa, only because I really want him to focus on his fighting career. I don't enjoy him on the mic, on the desk. He's good, but he's a little bit too dry. And he's a great fighter. And I also want him to win because he was in that hilarious commercial with Justin Gaethje for the vodka or for the tequila. So I'm going to go with Chiesa. So I got Chiesa, you got Luque. Next fight, Aldo versus Munoz. We talked about this on Filipino TV, actually. Aldo is 29-7. Munoz is 19-5. They're both on a 1-fight win streak. So they're both not coming off huge win streaks, but they are the co-main event. Who do you got on this one?
I got Aldo. You watch a Filipino TV. I always pick the legends, and hopefully he'll come back and show him that he's still got it. So I got Aldo.
All right, I am going with Munoz on that one. He has 3 fight of the nights bonuses in his last 4 fights. I
Mhm.
feel he's hungrier. I feel he's probably taken less damage over the years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Munoz. And then the scheduled co-main was supposed to be Juliana Pena versus
Yeah.
Amanda Nunez.
Yeah.
Amanda Nunez. She came down with COVID, tested positive with COVID, so had to be removed from the fight. Thoughts on that, Prince?
Yeah, it's funny because we almost forgot that there's still a pandemic. Like I was like, whoa, man, people
Yeah.
are still contracting COVID. Right? I almost forgot about it, right? Because I remember
Well,
fighting the game with catching left, right, and center. Now we're like, whoa, what? Really? Nunes got it? So I mean, hopefully Nunes recovers from it and everything is going well. There's no medical issues around that. But I mean, it was just too bad because I was actually looking forward to that card. That card would be, really fun to watch. I mean, hopefully go past the first round, but like what I mean. So that it happens. That's we're still we're still in the pandemic. It's still it's still out there. So we'll see if man. What if there's someone that can jump in like last minute?
yeah, but she's the title holder. Let's be honest. Nunez with COVID was going to win the fight.
Yeah,
Like she was going to win the fight. I'm sure she was saying like, "Hey, just let me fight. I'm still okay."
yeah,
Yeah. Too bad. Obviously we wish Nunez the best. We hope that everything is okay. Not to get too scientific, but I always assume most of these fighters are all double vaccinated. So, I mean, I guess maybe they're not, but I mean, I would assume she is. It's funny how many fighters are getting COVID, or like how many corners are getting COVID. You think that this being your job, right, and knowing that, hey, if any of us get COVID, we lose our payday. Like, I cannot fight. So we all better be freaking isolating and whatever to make sure nothing is wrong. It seems weird that so many people are getting it.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you are double vaccinated, you could still catch COVID. I mean, you're just not going to feel the
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
medical issues that are associated with it. But I mean, again, she probably had like the sniffles or something like that, where she tested screened positive for one of the screeners, and she just went to get tested for the sake of it, and then she came out with it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
um,
too bad. I mean, it is too bad because that really was the true, in my opinion, that was the true main event of this card. Because when we get to the main event now, we get to Lewis versus Gane. Lewis, Derek the Black Beast Lewis, he's 25-7-1. He has a win over the current champion Ngannou back in 2018.
yeah.
2018 being when Gane made his professional debut. He is now 9-0, undefeated heavyweight. Who do you have for this, Prince, and why?
I've got Lewis just because that man, right? I was actually watching some of his highlights, and he just knows how to touch you. You get touched with his hands, and you're done, right? And I mean, we even saw that with the Blades fight. Like, you know what people don't know, he's got great takedown defense, and he's also he's so accurate when he's throwing these punches. He timed that uppercut to Blades' jaw so perfectly well. Literally, he
Yeah.
just snuck it in there, and you're like, here you go, and he was out. That I
Yeah.
honestly think it's Lewis, and he's going to take this fight. Just for me, either first or second round, he's going to clip them. He's going to clip him, and I think Lewis has a game plan. Even while you watch him bet it, there's something that I think they're going to do something in terms of checking those kicks. I think there's something might be. What do you think, Tim?
I love Lewis.
Yep.
I think that though this was a bad fight for him to take. He was already the number one contender. I think he
Mhm.
should have sat out. I think he should have just said, "Hey, I'm going to wait for Ngannou to be ready. Ngannou wants to wait until September. I will wait till September. Why give up your chance at fighting for the championship title over a guy that you already have a win against, right? You just sit that baby out." Him taking the gun fight, I think, is dangerous. I think that on Sunday morning, we're all going to be saying, shoot, Lewis should have waited, because I think Gane is going to get the win. I think Gane is going to keep him at range with long jabs, such as Strickland. I think he's going to keep him away with long jabs, teep kicks. I think he's going to keep his distance from Lewis, test Lewis's cardio. I think that's how I see it going. And I don't want Gane to win just because I like Lewis and I think Lewis deserves that title with all the work he's put in. But I think that I think Gane's gonna surprise people.
But you know what? I'll throw this in there too, Tim. In a recent interview with Lewis, he doesn't care who's going to fight. If it was Gane, if it was Francis, he doesn't. For him, it's the same paycheck. Whoever he goes in there with, he's just going to fight, right? And he's in the fight business. I think for him, he's just in there to earn the paycheck. It doesn't matter who he the UFC throws in front of him, right? So.
I think one of the things that really convinced him to take this fight, though, was that it's in Houston. That's his hometown.
Yes, I was going to say.
And he always shouts out Houston in his fights and stuff like that. So I think that was a very sneaky way for Dana White to be like, you're going to take this main event, right? Like, we're going to bring this to your hometown. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't like it. I know outwardly he'll be positive about it, but there's got to be something in the back of your head going, shoot, man, if I lose this, I've lost everything. Like, if I lose this, I've got to now work my way back up to that title shot, which at heavyweight, okay, you had the Derek Lewis fight, but waiting in the wings, you've got Stipe Miocic, you've got John Jones, right? Like, you've got people lined up for that title shot. If you miss this one, you could potentially not be seeing a title shot for like maybe a year or more. And that's contingent upon you winning multiple fights. So, and at the heavyweight division, anything can happen, right? So
it's when you mentioned Stipe as well, and I know he's not happy because he's not getting his rematches, and you saw the comments that he was making with ONE FC, him wanting to go over there.
Yeah,
I was like, what? Really? He's just like, this is nuts. Like, DC got trilogies rematches after me. I gotta wait. Like, this is not fair, right? So, that's it. Heavyweight, it's looking a lot more interesting now. Well, this fight, like I was gonna say to Tim, Houston, he's in Houston as well, so he's in his hometown. The crowd's gonna be screaming for him, so I think that's another factor for Lewis to take this dub.
Yeah, there we go. Can I just say, every time you say take this dub, I'm very confused. My brain always assumes that means take a loss, and I know dub means debut, like for a win. But the term "take the dub" it's very confusing to me. Let us know in the comments, or email us at fightinsightpod@gmail.com and just let us know if you like that term. I do not understand it.
You don't want to take that L.
See, that makes more sense to me. Don't take the L. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, all right, Prince. We will now go on to our Fight on Site Canadian edition. This is, of course, in honor of Malcolm X Gordon being on the podcast. So thank you again to Malcolm. We are going to pick two Canadian fighters to go head to head. Prince, I think you're first.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go first. And
you should prep this beforehand. Okay.
Yeah, I actually so my pick for Fight on Site Canadian edition is the one and only, the legend, Carlos Newton. Yes. Carlos is a Canadian mixed martial artist. He's retired. He is a former UFC welterweight champion and Pride FC Japan MMA legend. He won the belt against Pat Miletich, right? And he was actually our first ever UFC champion. And he's, again, a great, jiu-jitsu practitioner, judo, wrestling, boxing. He had it all. And so my pick is Carlos Newton, just because I remember seeing him in the UFC, and the fact that he was Canadian, everybody was rooting before even GSP and all these people came rolling, and he was the first. So that's my pick. Who do you got, Tim?
Alrighty, I think we've talked about this guy before on the podcast. I'm not 100% sure. And for those joining us because of Malcolm Gordon, just know it's illegal for us to pick our guest. So that's why we didn't pick Malcolm Gordon. My pick, though, for Canadian Fighter Edition is the one and only Sean the Punisher Pearson.
Yes.
Prince, Sean Pearson is the guy that I trained with, that you've trained with. He was a coach at our gym, so he trained me in MMA. scary dude, but one of the nicest dudes. He was funny. He was so knowledgeable. When I first met him, I don't think I've said this story, have I? But when I first met him, I had no idea he was who he is. I just heard his name is Sean, whatever, but I didn't know who he was. Come to find out that he's a UFC fighter. He is he is 20 fights. He's 14-6. He was coming off. He retired after a 3-fight winning streak in the UFC. I mean, this guy was taking out people. You know, he last fought Jake Hetch, Lance Benoist, and Kenny Robertson. 3 wins in a row, and then he ended up retiring. But the nicest guy, man, strong as a bull. I don't what's the term, but holy crap, that guy. I remember we would spar, and you would hit other people and you could feel like some give, like if you would punch them or whatever, you'd feel a little bit of a give.
Yeah.
You could hit Sean as much as you wanted, and it was like hitting like a concrete wall. Like there was no movement. It was like, what the hell is this guy made of? What an animal. Great guy though, really, just a cool guy, imparted so much knowledge on us. None of us were going to become pro MMA fighters, but the guy took the time, really pleasant, really great guy. For that, I will always be grateful with him, grateful for him, grateful to him. And so that is my pick for Canadian fighter for our fight in sight, fight similar fight edition. If you have a chance to go follow Sean, man, he's a great guy. His nickname before he got to the UFC, he was Sean the Punisher Pearson. Before that, it was Sean the Pimp Pearson. He used to come out with like a big furry pimp hat. I think the story is that UFC didn't want him to use that nickname just because of the pimp thing. But, that was pretty cool, man. Hopefully one day we'll have him on this podcast. I don't think we've reached out to him.
Yeah, I would love to have him on. I mean, like I said, like he's one of the guys. He's one of the trainers that literally he would give you like you would walk in and you would be in a panic already because you don't know. I was constantly doing burpees and he's like, "And Prince, I didn't ask for that. I'm sorry. I just felt like I had to. It was a reflex." But yeah, shout out to Sean. Okay, that's a big one. So Tim, I think it's time. It's time. Okay, so for our fight on site simulator, we've got for Carlos Newton, we've got.
A little cartoon Thor sticker. Nice.
Yes, that's right. And for Sean Pearson, we have
Ant-Man.
Yes.
Very nice.
You know what I love about this is, Tim, that you could pick, like I could pull out anything out of my bag and you could name all the characters.
Prince, do you understand, within arm's reach, do you know how many stupid nerdy comics I have? Like, I mean, like what? Tons. Over at our friends at Heroes World in Markham. Tons of this garbage, of course. I buy it all the time. Prince, let's see what the fight simulator has to say. We've got Carlos Newton, represented by Thor, against our good friend Sean Pearson, represented by Ant-Man. He will take offense to that, by the way. Go ahead.
Lightning bolt.
Okay. I mean, Sean Pearson probably knows where you live, so I would not have done that with the simulator.
I know, but we're gonna edit that.
Can I just say something? You know how you're saying that you were, joking around and Pearson like scared you, right? Mm-hmm. I do want to tell our fans and our listeners that when we went out to the fundraiser with Kat on the weekend, Prince knows nobody at this thing. Okay, there's a bunch of people in the parking lot or in the back where we were doing the boot camp, and like nobody knows each other, and it didn't seem like many people knew each other at all. Like everybody was kind of like onto their self. So we're sitting there doing the exercises, and within 2 minutes, Prince is screaming at the top of his lungs, "When I say hard work, you say dedication. Hard work." And then I'm looking over at my wife and we're like, "Oh my God, Prince is insane." And then sure enough, people start going, "Dedication." And Prince is, "Hard work, dedication." Like everybody's just following along with you. You're the funniest dude, man. I don't understand how you are who you are, but it was hilarious. It was classic Prince.
You've trained with me before, Tim. Like I can't, like for me, it's weird to be quiet. Like we're there. It's not a library. You might as well scream my lungs out. And I was dying. I dropped a lung or two in there. Like the hard work dedication thing I was screaming out. Oh my gosh. Like I wish I didn't do that. By like the second exercise, I was like, okay, that was really dumb.
And
Tim,
and then at the end of it, somehow Prince gets two guys to come over to his car, and Prince pulls out Muay Thai pads and starts having them kick pads with him, like next to his car. Like, what was going on there?
you know what? I was trying to make friends. I was trying to make. We were networking. Some guy, 'cause one of the kids was Noah. Actually, so it's Noah, one of Cat's family members, was out there, showing that he was throwing some kicks, some knees, and I'm like, okay, so you could show some stuff. I got some pads. Let's see what we could do. And he started throwing some stuff. So hey, shout outs to
Nice.
them, and yeah, it was a really great event, and yeah, it was amazing. No, actually, shout outs to you, Tim, because if it wasn't for you who reached out to Preston and then set up the interview, we would have never known. We would have just been going on with our regular podcast. And I'm so glad we did it. And everyone, my friend, said it was an amazing event. So
You know what, we had a lot of positive feedback from that. People that normally never engage with us on social media, they were actually reaching out to me, talking to me about it and saying like, oh, that's really cool that you guys did that and whatever. So yeah, we're really glad that we could bring like the Fight Insight brand to there. We're glad that she came on, and we'll definitely look to partner with her and with other causes like that. That said, if you ever want to get in touch with us, if you ever want to discuss, if you ever want to talk about being a guest on the podcast, if you have someone that you think should be a guest on the podcast, just email us at fightinsightpod@gmail.com, or go on our social media and DM us there on our Instagram. All our links obviously are always all over here. We have them posted everywhere. So just find us and put it on. Prince, before we go, is there anything that you wanted to talk about?
okay, so again, actually, so maybe we could make the announcement.
What announcement?
Who are you gonna have next week?
Go ahead, buddy. Just found this out literally seconds before we started this podcast.
The fans are ready. The viewers are ready. The listeners are ready. Joe Martinez, are you ready?
So Joe Martinez is coming to the podcast next week, guys. That is the second main ring announcer for UFC. He's the main ring announcer for Invicta. He's the guy that was with WEC. If you see him, you know his voice. That is crazy for us to speak to like one of the best in the game. He was in the Triple G versus Canelo. He does a lot of boxing. Like, this guy is a main guy. I'm so excited to talk to him, Prince. Find out how do you become a ring announcer? You better be taking notes.
I'm gonna be taking so much notes. Like, I've seen him at live. I've seen him do his thing, and it's amazing. Like, he just really knows how to get the crowd going. So that's something very exciting. And and also another announcement also is to make sure that you guys go into our giveaway. So the deadline is
it's over.
Okay.
Remember this. But by the time this releases, our giveaway will be over. We ran it for a week and a half, guys. We thank everybody for submitting their names and for entering the contest. We partnered with Bulldog Markham, great supplement store here in Markham, Ontario. So we will be picking the winner shortly. We'll do that on our Instagram story. But again, look out for other contests from us. And if you are a company that's looking to do a giveaway or wants to sponsor the show, by all means, reach out to us. We're open to it. And thank you very much. Prince, we are selling our shirts and our tank tops. We are going to start pushing this a little bit more. So if you want a shirt or if you want a tank top, message us, let us know. We'll start doing it on our Instagram so people can get in touch with us there. But these are very lovely shirts, man. They are great. Everybody likes it. We do have hats. If you want a hat, we have our hats. Those look good. They'll look better too. We'll get them better. But if you want a hat, let us know. Prince, I think that's it, man. We see Joe Martinez next week. We've got our shirts. We're finishing our giveaway. Lots of stuff coming up, though. We're pretty excited. Filipino TV. Go call Rogers now. Within a few hours, you can have that hooked up at your TV.
Yeah, and the next episode for that also, we will be on the studio, so you will be seeing us live. So that's going to be a big thing. So
yeah, that's cool too, man. New podcast every Friday. Prince, thank you very much, buddy. This was a good one. Malcolm X Gordon. Do the symbol one more time while we get out of here, Prince.
Malcolm X Gordon, buddy.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.